All right, REALMigos, we are back. I apologize. I accidentally set the event for 7 a.m., so probably nobody's going to watch this tonight, but it's all right. We're back. We got people are jumping on now. Okay. If you are just jumping on, we want to hear where you're coming from. REALMigos is back at it again. We have Mullet Man himself. What's
Ian,
up, Kevin?
the Mullet Man.
Mullet Man number 3 today.
What's up, fam? How you guys doing? I missed everyone.
Yeah, it's been a while, man. We missed you.
Yeah, it's been
Show's
a minute.
been a little quiet.
Yeah, just a lot of weird stuff in the world right now. So it's a good time to step back and start focus on some stuff. And Ian is driving.
Ian's breaking the law.
Breaking the law. We're breaking the law.
Ian's so dedicated to this show that he's breaking the law just to be here. So
is it breaking the law if the car's driving?
You know what? I'm not a lawyer, so I can't practice lawyer.
These are all really great questions.
These are all hypotheticals.
Yeah, what I would really like to see though is I would like to see Ian's camera as the camera on his Snapchat spectacles. Like I would like to be that our POV is Ian's POV tonight for him.
You get points for even understanding that they're Snapchat spectacles.
I don't even know how this thing is supposed to work. Look at this. Good night.
It looks good.
So I had to put the hat on, you know.
Good Jeremy night.
Well, all right. So where's everybody coming in from tonight? We haven't seen you in a while. He has a green screen behind him. Yeah, Ian is green screening right now, breaking the law. Dinosaur D, where are you, man? Dinosaur D sent me, hey, drop it in the chat again because I can't find the email. Dinosaur D dropped a cute little video of Kevin Knight that was circling the internet that I want to share. So Dinosaur, email it again and I'll pull it up. I couldn't find it in my email right before I got it. Okay.
What are you talking about?
All right. MetaVerse, the world of M3W3, all the things, we're doing them tonight. Kevin, what's new in the world? Just in the world. What's new?
Oh, man. A lot of stuff going on, you know. Of course, everything that's happening this week with the market is interesting to watch play out. And a lot of crypto related news, a lot of uncertainty there. Of course, stock market uncertainty too. So it's been a really interesting week. See what's going on. Yeah, it's been busy. That's for sure.
I like this comment that Austin's been hit with rents raising 50%. Remember that one guy who said the market's going to crash in Austin because the rents haven't caught up? And all three of us went, hey, that's a lagging indicator. You probably shouldn't use that as your source data. So interesting. We could have seen that come in. So Ian, what is going on with you, my friend?
Man, I think I have that same thought. A lot of things are fluctuating in the world, whether it's the crypto world, whether it's the metaverse world, whether it's the real estate world, the rental, commercial, the US dollar, oil prices, gas prices, you pick it. Everything is fluctuating substantially. And I think interest rates, right? And all of it, all of it is speculative. We don't know what's happening with any of it, really.
Yeah. My video yesterday, it's pretty funny. I put out was like the party's over, right? Mm-hmm. The seller party's over. Mm-hmm. And people were ripping me in the comments saying, you're the guy that said the market's never going to end, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't know if you actually got past the intro, but I didn't say the market was ending. I just said the party's over for sellers, which means it's going to be, I didn't say prices were coming down. I didn't say, it's quite interesting how people only hear what they want to hear.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of interesting because you're going to have a lot of fluctuation in both directions, right? Like the rent's going up while the sellers might not be partying as much anymore, right? It's still there's still going to be things and people that are benefiting substantially. And it might only be this way for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't think so historically, but we're not in a historic situation.
I don't know. I remember back like the last recession, like the big recession, like back in 2008, 2009. I mean, that was kind of similar. Like you get this pain point of the immediate market drop out of the way, let things kind of hash themselves out. Yeah, there's probably going to be a little bit more fluctuation, I would guess, but we're in the tough time right now. You know what I mean? So like at this point, it's just understanding that everything sucks and we just have to endure that negativity for a while and, either invest in some stuff, you're going to keep, like, for example, if you know that there's something you want to invest in long-term, invest in long-term. So, oh my gosh.
It's so crazy because that's what we were saying.
So, hold on a second.
What is this? I lost the audio.
Jeremy's muted. Jeremy, you're muted. Bro, you're still muted.
There we go.
There it is.
There we go. Let me try it again. I don't know why it muted me, but
across the country where I can help you out with your specific real estate needs.
Specific.
Whether you're selling your home or buying a home or wanting to invest in real estate, that's what I'm here for. So I thrive on that personal.
So Dinosaur D scoured the internet to find that for us.
He didn't look very hard.
And he got it for us. So
that's my intro video on Realtor.com. I'm pretty sure
that's circa 1997.
2015.
KNIGHT. Anyway, sorry about that. Dinosaur D sent that to me, so I had to get it in there.
The thing that's so
awesome,
great
man.
about
Good
that,
find.
Kevin, you got to realize you ultimately look pretty close to the same.
I feel like that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
I mean, especially with the headphones in the way covering the mullet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
we're flowing. Okay.
We're flowing. If we're flowing, you got to flow.
I gotta turn my fan on so it blows in the wind.
That's what Botox does.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, roll your window down, Ian.
What are you talking about? I've got AC. Why would I roll the window down? Psh.
Oh,
What is
your
this?
volume, sorry.
Third world country? Is that mean? Should I not say that?
No, we're in.
Yeah.
Well, you're in Texas, so
I'm gonna have to go private all my old videos on YouTube. Everybody's gonna go down and save them before I do, probably.
So random Randolph. Oh no, just random. Bruh. Oh man, I gotta take these glasses off. Says, I'm so glad I put most of my net worth into real estate. Everything slowing down is still up like multiple times over. So Kevin, like how much did you lose in the stock market in the well, you don't lose until you sell. But.
No, I mean, but I honestly didn't because I wasn't heavily positioned in stuff that was going to lose a lot at that point. So I've been sitting around waiting for these opportunities for a long, long time. And I've lost a little bit, but I also made most of what I've lost is actually stuff that I've made in grinding out the differences on projects and stuff. So I didn't feel real bad about it. I probably could have walked away with a bit more gain. Like I traded some Tesla options and did okay there. And then I lost all that money trading the options again later the next week. And then I did a little weird crypto play last week that paid off pretty handsomely that I missed the boat on. I missed like 1,000x return on it by probably 2 hours. I hesitated pulling the trigger. I waited 2 hours. I pulled the trigger and it shot through the roof. So, and so it's been interesting, but like I said, this is the type of market, like whatever you're looking for. And I love that this is real estate because like all the investment stuff, most of it's so speculative and moving up and down. Like what did Austin prices do in the last couple of months? They only settled like what, 1%, So not really even that. I mean, so real estate, I feel like is always just such a solid place to be parking your money.
Well, it's interesting because somebody was chiding me for saying back in October, I guess, that the market wasn't going to slow down. And they're like saying, well, you're saying this now that the market's, I didn't say it was crashing. It's just slowing down. Like, even if you look, I've been saying for months, if you actually look at the cycles, it slows down past July, like August, September, the numbers come back down a little bit. Last year was heavily exacerbated. Well, we see that same like crazy exacerbation. It's a tricky word to say, where it like really comes down in August. I mean, I think I've been saying this, I feel like a broken record. Like if you're been waiting to buy and the market starts to slow down right now, and we get into that August, September timeframe and prices aren't as crazy, because like, look, 625 right now. Back in October, we were at 540, 535. So we're almost still $100,000 higher. Yeah, we are. So we're at 640. So we're $100,000 higher than we were in October. So even then, like if you would have bought then to now, you're still up $100,000.
Well, this is why, like, if I could talk some common sense into people, that they look at investments in silos instead of like everything together, right? So like Netflix, for example, I know it's maybe a bad example, but if you were to aggregate a lot of the top, and I probably should look at like the Dow or something, but Netflix is down 63% since last year, and most stocks are down 40 to 60% since last year. But stocks for some reason are continually like, oh, you should be putting your money in mutual funds or giving it to your financial advisor, and they'll invest it in a mutual fund and you're good. It doesn't matter anyway, because the aggregate gain on the stock market over the last 100 years has been 6% per year. So you're good to go. So, but then they look at real estate and they're like, oh gosh, what if the prices of real estate, what if they crash? And what happens? Like the price of real estate goes down by 30%. Okay. You're not liquidating real estate at that point. You're holding on to the long term anyway. You're not even realizing that loss. So it is such a good bellwether, even in times like this where you feel like, okay, maybe you feel like the prices are going to settle because we're in a recession or whatever. I mean, what's keeping Netflix or Tesla or anybody else for losing double what you potentially could lose in a real estate investment at this point? So I just feel like that's.
I don't know if you've seen the prices of Tesla stock lately.
No, I've been watching it because I've been looking for times to trade options again, and I don't trade. I'm not a bear. I'm a bull, so I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of it obviously is politically charged and relational to the Twitter thing and a few other conversations that are public. But then the market as a whole isn't helping. So, I mean, there's so many reasons. Then news, AI days coming up again. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
So, but the reason why I bring it up is because, I mean, what was it at 1,200 now ish, and now it's at 7 and some change.
This is the time when, like, literally right now, you need to take a day or 2 off, 3 off from your life, get away from looking at screens and everything, have to come to Jesus talk with yourself or whoever your deity of choice is, and tell yourself, like, now is the time to be thinking about the triggers that you are going to pull in the next couple of months that are going to make lots of people a lot of money in the next 5 years. There are so many opportunities. Like, would you buy Tesla at $1,000? Sure. Or would you buy it at 7? I mean, you certainly should be looking at it, So I don't know. I just feel like this is the time where there's so many. That's where I'm kind of not overwhelmed, but I'm evaluating, like, of all the options to be putting money right now, like, many of them are going to be massive gainers in the next 5 to 10 years. Where do you want to focus your efforts?
When you said gainer, I was thinking gymnastics.
Gainers.
Yeah. So, okay. I think that's actually a good segue into decentralized, any kind of decentralized ecosystem. And the reason why I say that is, so think about Tesla for a minute. Tesla, a lot of people confuse it as a car company, right? We know it's not a car company. It's so many more things than just a car company. Now, Elon Musk, if he does something, Tesla's stock swings, right?
Mm-hmm.
If something, heaven forbid, were to happen to Elon Musk, what would Tesla's stock do? We saw that happen with Apple and Steve Jobs. What would happen if Warren Buffett? Like, there's all these figureheads that if they drop out of circulation, it really affects things. Where I feel like if it was, I don't know, something that's a little more spread across the top, then it would be it would have less of an effect. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I just, like, even real estate right now, like, even with prices the way that they are, interest rates the way that they are. Rental rates here are very strong as well. So, talking to a new investor who was looking at purchasing a property, and he was concerned that his return, the rental return on those units was not going to be a massive cash flow every single month. But I was saying, even if your mortgage is $3,000 a month and your rental is only $2,800 a month, it's covering $2,800. You're investing $200 a month into an asset that's likely appreciating by a much greater amount, and is much lower risk than a lot of other stuff. It's a little less liquid, I suppose, but anyways, Ian, you're crazy, bro.
Yeah, I think it's possible that we see a lot of paper hands right now.
Yeah,
right?
There's a lot of people panicking and selling stuff.
Well, even my wife, like the market's coming down, and she's like, "Oh, we should sell off our stuff because the market's coming down." I'm like, "That's the worst thing we can do."
Yeah,
we have to, look at what stocks we own, but yeah. I've been buying Tesla stock when it's down and then selling it when it's up. Making a little money off Tesla stock. I love that stock. Right? That's my favorite to buy and sell.
Yeah.
So,
that's my favorite to option trade. That's for sure.
I bet
it's risky, but you can get some decent options that are pretty far out of the money for a reasonable price, and they move really fast with pretty decent small movements in the Tesla stock. I think that the one that probably gets traded more is QQQ, which gets a lot of options. QQQ.
Oh, gotcha.
S&P index.
I think you said pew pew pew.
Or Invesco QQQ Trust Series 1. Anyways, but otherwise, like that's kind of everybody knows that's the state of the market, but there's like a lot of weird energy around all financial stuff right now, all financial conversations, and where to invest your money, what not to do, where to sell, what not to sell. Like, and we'll talk about that too, like, crypto space, NFT space as well. Although, that's another thing that even in the midst of all this, still there's strong sales in NFTs and a lot of other good stuff going on. So not everybody's super scared. I think a lot of people are just kind of like teetering around, individually waiting. We all know that we're in a recession right now, and we're waiting for that kind of like collective momentum to move forward.
Hold on. We're in a recession right now? Because when I said that a couple of weeks ago, people thought it was crazy.
We've been in a recession. Like who's debating that? We've been in a recession.
There's a lot of people like, we're not in a recession. I think there's a lot of deniers out there. I'm like, we're in the middle of it. We don't know for 2 cycles. Then we know we were in a recession.
Like, yeah, I understand that, but like the reality is it's going to go on for a little bit longer. We know that. So
yeah,
it's got.
Yeah, I think the question is, what do people determine or use to determine whether or not we're in a recession? Right. What is the key performance indicator?
Well, I think it's 2 quarters or whatever. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'll look it up. 2 quarters where GDP is negative.
Right.
That sounds.
Yeah. So, but that doesn't really mean much to me because, right, inflation's got to flesh itself out. People are generally like extremely disappointed with the way that the current administration's handling all economic matters.
You still have to think about
talk about that on the internet, though.
I said current administration.
You still have to think about the input output of Texas and then Austin, right? Not just fiscal at a national level. That's what we want to stick to, right?
Well,
everybody wants to understand if there's a ripple.
What's interesting, if you look at Austin, though, like if you're paying attention to like the Business Journal, I'm seeing a lot of companies that are that were slated to come here and deciding not to come here now. But then you're seeing other companies announcing that they're moving here. So, and a lot of it has to do with price. And then today, or maybe it was yesterday, they announced, I just did a reel on it on my Instagram channel, that Austin has been bumped off the list of top 10 cities to live. It's number 13 now. San Francisco is higher than Austin. Something's wrong, or somebody paid somebody some money when San Jose and San Francisco rank above Austin as places to live.
I think we had this conversation before. If money was not a factor, How
I
many
still
people
wouldn't live in San Francisco.
You wouldn't, but how many people would want to? And I don't know that answer, right? But I think money drove a lot of people out, and then other things continued to drive, continued as a driving force.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd live in San Diego again over freaking San Francisco any
I
day
hear
of the
ya.
week. Or
hear
like Orange County. I would live there any day of the week over San Francisco. But San Francisco, nah, pass.
They've got pretty trees and ocean and desert not very far. There's a lot of terrain for people that are okay with cold and dreary skies. Right?
Yeah.
Here's a nice little comparison of recession versus a depression. A recession lasts months, they say, not years. A depression is what lasts years, and it's when things are out of control, GDP plummets, and it affects our ability to actually take care of daily life for ourselves and for others. So like we're in a recession, and maybe it's going to go along a little bit longer, but I don't know how much you want to launch into this theoretically. Like,
go for it, dude. We're having fun tonight.
Theoretically, with
the
in the last couple of years, anything that's happened in the last couple of years, I believe, has completely shifted the way that life happens from here on forward. So if you're looking at like even the way that in 2008 the recession was handled and how it bounced back, it didn't bounce back quickly, but it did bounce back fairly quickly. I remember looking at stocks when I had the opportunity. It make you throw up. Because I was staring at Apple stock when it was like $25 a share or $30, and I didn't have a ton of money to invest at that point. I had a little bit, and I actually outperformed my financial advisor that year. I told him the stocks I wanted to do, and he came to me later and he's like, "Do you mind if I use these for my customers' portfolios?" It's like, "No, please go ahead." But
did you keep that? You keep that financial advisor?
No.
Oh, okay.
Why would I do that? I finally went to him. I was like, I'm going to manage my own money. I'm sorry. But there were so many buy opportunities at that point. The only time I regret not having more money to put towards everything that was going on. But the same thing is happening here, except that as a retail investor, the only way I could retail invest was pretty antiquated. Like I have to go into my TD Ameritrade account and make some weird trade in like an Apple IIe back end interface looking thing. And now, like with the advent of retail trading being commonplace and being able to do this anywhere and everywhere, I can see retail traders and newfound crypto wealthy people like as soon as we get a really solid indicator that maybe inflation's calming down a little bit, or that everyone else feels good about everyone else getting into investing again, I think this is going to V up really, really fast. I don't see this being a slow grow back to where we are. I feel like people are going to pile in ready to get the economy back to where we want it to be. Hi, Joel.
What's up, Joel? Joel, you missed. I just took off the mullet. I couldn't do it anymore. This hurt my head. I don't know how you're doing it, Ian. How do you have a mullet for real? I don't get it, Kevin.
Yeah, that's the real question.
It's the burden. It's the burden of life.
Yeah, I can't do it, man.
I hide all my secrets in it.
Real question, Kevin. Legit question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any metaverse land? Yes or no?
Yeah, I do.
Are you holding it?
Yes. I have multiple parcels and multiple metaverse sides.
I was going to ask that. I was going to ask what metaverse you have it in.
I have the ones I have are one called in Meta Legends, which is not fully developed yet, but they are taking they won't release until September, but with the amount of work that they're putting into it, I can easily see it being one of the bigger moving forces outside of the already blue chip projects. Like I stayed away from the Bored Ape land sales. I didn't touch those at all. There were 100
land sales. I just have a couple of their NFTs.
Yeah, they had the other side land sales. I mean, that was a massive release that I won't talk about that too much. For the time, that was a huge sale day for NFTs. Those are trading around 3 ETH right now, which is like only $6,000, but there are 100,000 parcels, and even Sandbox, which was the big winner months ago, you can buy a parcel in Sandbox for 1.6 ETH right now, which is $3
Right
grand.
now?
Yeah,
It's
3-4
pretty
grand.
good.
Super cheap. But the thing is, it's the utility side. I think it sets in for folks like, speculatively, like with these land metaverses, like they're if there's no hype around it and you're like, well, what's the real
reason?
utility? Like, what's the reason we're going to be doing this? Sandbox dragged their feet so much in creating an experience for users that I think it lost a lot of momentum where they had the opportunity to really make that work. Now, a big one is NFT Worlds, which is they created the infrastructure environment so that other NFT projects could overlay their metaverse cosmetics onto the infrastructure for NFT worlds. And in the NFT worlds, you can earn in-game currency by playing those games. So a lot of other games like Los Muertos and CyberKongs, I believe, uses it as well. But a lot of other NFT projects use NFT worlds, separate NFT project, as their baseline for their NFT. So you can play to earn on those games is what I'm saying immediately. Like you can start playing and doing battle royales and stuff and you're earning currency.
Do you know if Unreal Engine supports any kind of plugin for?
Well, Unreal Engine is the
type of
development.
environment?
Yeah, Meta Legends is actually built on.
Oh, it's built on Unreal Engine or Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine 4 or 5?
4. Yeah, they're not using 5 yet on that when they started at 4, but I can see them easily transitioning to 5. Have you seen some of the 5 stuff?
Oh, yeah, on my PS5, man, it's crazy.
It's
so, and I've seen trailers and everything. Yeah,
they've recently released some movie trailers that just look creepily like real life.
Well, I think that's the thing. I think forever, as long as we can imagine, we've been striving for something that not replaces reality, but enhances reality.
Yeah.
Or when you can't do something, like let's say you're in a wheelchair, but you want to experience the same thing some of your friends do or your family has. That's where this really shows some utility. So these virtual lands that Dinosaur D was asking about, I mean, how many artists lately, Chance the Rapper, Snoop Dogg, but how many of these people are starting to put on, we've talked about the concerts before. I think we've talked about that, right? Like that's a big deal. And to those kids that go to those, it's just as real as you and I going to a concert at Stubbs, right?
Yeah.
To them, they don't know any better. They were stuck in the house for 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be, this is just my personal opinion on it. If I see the way that this is going to flesh itself out, I also own one called NanoPass, which is another really, if I'm being quite honest, I feel like the Nanoverse environment, NanoPass, PXN network, the things that they're doing outside of just land, I believe in 3 to 5 years is going to catch absolute wildfire as far as the way that people interact with NanoPass, which is a piece of land that I own. They're also releasing agents, and they already have put in the Discord server some tests for the agents called Rabbit, which they're building desktop AI companions. They're anime.
You remember Tamagotchi Cyber Pets?
Yeah. It's like Tamagotchi or like the movie Her or whatever.
Look at Jeremy. He's like, "Oh, I was fishing."
But I can be like, hey, what's Rabbit? What's going on today? What's the weather looking like? Oh, the weather's like this or whatever. It's just a better. And then they remember that stuff about you. They get to know you, and you talk to your AI, and then it builds this up. So they're working on that as your desktop companion. And then additionally, they released this PXN network, which the NFT is just a profile pic NFT. But inside of that, they're creating these like factions, of course, of groups of people that you're going to be getting together in these groups of people and working towards common goals together as a society in this virtual world. So they're not just taking this as a game. They're creating these real interactive experiences that are more than just dropping into a battle royale. And they're more than just trading a picture of a profile pic. They're taking this utility and adding a lot more value to that. And those are the projects I get most excited about. PXN and Nanoverse, specifically NanoPass, are the ones that I am most excited about right now. But then I also recently bought and there's many of these type projects too, but I bought, I should have had it set up now that I think about it. I bought a virtual mansion. So it's a real metaverse property. I can decorate the inside with NFTs and my own decorations. I can, when it's here soon, but in a couple of months, we'll be able to invite people through Oculus into your living room, watch virtual movies together.
You're talking about with venues? Or
It's
one
a
of the
mansion.
like alt VR. So let's talk about that. That answers a couple of the questions. Like one of them, Joel's question was augmented reality is greater than virtual reality. I think that they both are incredible and have different use cases, but I do agree that augmented reality will have a lot more excitement in the long term, personally.
Well, it depends.
What was the other? Oh, the purpose. The purpose. Dinosaur D asked about the purpose of the virtual lands. So I ask anybody who's watching this, anybody, why do you decorate your house? Like, that's a legit question, right?
Yeah.
Like, for entertaining, for when you have people over. But what about those people that don't have friends or sit in the house all the time or just watch TV?
Yeah.
Like, not to be rude or weird or anything, but really think about it. And think about your kids. Where do they spend most of their time? Right? We want people, you want to have people over. You want to entertain. Or you want to go out. Or you might go to someone else's. That's the whole reason you do it. It's all about, what makes you feel good. And then when people come over, it's like their conversation pieces and that kind of stuff. I like it.
Yeah, so, that's what it is. It's like your way to just sit down instead of thinking I need to go visit grandma. Like I got to go fly to Florida or whatever. Like you just put grandma in the room there virtually, and she can be there with you guys and connect.
Like Jeremy, why does he have to have a background? It's identity.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
could be green.
That's what it is. It's identity. Yeah.
There's so many levels to that too. Like that's why I personally can talk about this topic. I have talked about this topic for 3 or 4 hours without taking a breath and didn't even realize it. I'm like, wow, I'm so passionate about that. This is the way that the world is going to move. Like the combination of that experience can happen regardless of any of the other projects we're talking about, right? Having a virtual space where you can connect with your family, watch a movie together. Like you can all put your Oculus on and go to your virtual mansion, sit in the virtual living room and watch a virtual movie together, right?
The thing is, you go back 3 years and 90% of the population is like, I'm always going to meet in person. I hate online stuff. I hate learning online. I hate spending time online. And look what we're all doing right now.
Yeah, you'll have to do that.
You'll have to.
And most people they still don't spend time with their family anyway, right?
That's the real truth.
They say I would rather go see my friends face to face, and then they don't want to go. When it comes down to it, they don't even want to go out of the house. They don't want to go. The logistics become too much. You're like, oh my gosh, I have to go from North Austin to South Austin. That's 30 minutes. I'm not going to do it. I can't do it.
That's why we don't hang out more, Ian, is because you're way too north.
Seriously, but I've seen you more, and this is. I mean, we're like brothers, but I've seen you more in this capacity or in other meetings online than we've had a chance to in person. That goes for you too, Kevin. Sure. That's just because that's the nature of today. Right? And now that traffic's coming back, it's even worse. So unless you're going to go to goat yoga with me, we're not going to see each other at all.
But this is the bigger conversation around, like, where Dinosaur D says that a lot of people are pushing back and wanting to do real life activities. That's not untrue. But like, if we're really going to step back from it and say, look at the last 12 years, has social media itself, the advent of social media itself, not done the exact same thing, right? People were arguing like, well, social media now, nobody's ever going to want to hang out with each other. We hang out with each other all the time in real life. It's just the difference is this: when you have the metaverse abilities to connect with people, it's that you're spending maybe a little bit of time every day doing that. You're not in there all the time. And if you are, that's fine too. There's no reason that you shouldn't be. But what I can easily see it doing is it's going to the connection of all these technologies including augmented reality. This, and people are going to make fun of me, but I'm already to the point where I don't even ever want to carry a phone ever again. I'm
with
so
you.
over it. I'm so over it. There's no reason for me to have it. There's zero reason for me to have it. If I want to make a call, either I have glasses or I have at some point, I'm probably going to have a.
You saw that. You saw Google released, or they announced their Google Glass coming back.
Yeah,
that was just way before its time. People just couldn't handle it, and now they've got Ray-Ban stories. I've got those. I've got the spectacles. Man.
Well, and at some point it'll be.
I got Maui Jims.
Police wearing body cams. I mean, you're already on camera. You just don't, you know.
But the reality is, most of what we do is going to be in a small screen or even a large screen in front of you. I saw another one that it's this fully immersive virtual screen that goes in front of you as well, that you'll just watch movies and there's no screen. So you're going to be making phone calls and everything via.
You guys know about this, right? This thing, or is it? Can you see that?
Yeah, it's in your car.
Yeah, the camera that's there too.
Yeah.
That
data.
camera is a freaking snitch. All right. When I use my knee, it knows, like, if I'm like texting like this, it's beeping like crazy at me. And I'm like, my knee is touching. My knee is touching. And it's like, no, your hand's not on the steering wheel.
I just don't see. And like, I guess I'm thinking in terms of, I'm not thinking in terms of 5 years from now. Okay, fine. You can't wrap your head around the fact that in 5 years you're going to be doing this. That's fine. You personally, if that's the attitude that you have, and I'm not saying it's a bad attitude, if that's the mindset that you have, you're not going to personally be doing that. And that's fine. Nobody's going to judge you for that. But the reality is that 10 to 20 years from now, everybody in Gen Z, that's going to be their life. They won't even know. We'll look at it and be like, it's like that line from Back to the Future 2, where like, you don't have to use your hands. That's a baby's toy. Like when he's playing the gun game at the restaurant.
I was on the phone with my lawyer. I've got a court case going on, which I won, by the way. But
good for you.
I was on the phone with my lawyer, and we were supposed to set up a meeting. And I asked him, I was like, hey, can you just send me the invite and I'll make sure to hop on? And he was like, I don't know how to do that. That's whoever doesn't want to understand this technology in 5 years.
Yeah,
that's how I look at it. Anybody who's hard against change, like the understanding that, not the change itself, understanding the change. That's what it's like.
I just love the idea of it. I love the idea of the metaverse in so many ways, shapes, or forms. It makes me very, very happy because, it helps a lot, I believe, with a lot of people that are introverted or they're socially anxious or even just don't want to be around people.
Isn't that majority of the population?
Yeah.
Like they have social anxiety. And then you also look at number one fear isn't even death. It's public speaking, yet people can hop on a virtual meeting or a YouTube channel and speak to thousands.
That's what I'm saying is like, I love the idea. And I've already experienced this in gamer culture. Yes, I am a gamer. Okay, play good games. But some of my closest friends in that environment are people
Is it true that if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes?
I've won some really nice prizes playing stupid games, but yeah, generally that's the truth.
Wasn't there just an article about kids who grew up playing more games have a higher IQ?
Well, I'm sure the reality is the correlation forwards or backwards.
And then also doctors who played more games had better dexterity and were better at surgery. Like there are a lot of, you can look at, I mean, it's all stats, which can be manipulated, but Elon Musk plays games. Look how much money he's got.
If you think of those people like that are doing that, like they are able to have an avatar, be the person that they want to be. Maybe they're not the prettiest. Maybe they have an actual deformity. Maybe they have no confidence in themselves. But I promise you, the people that I talk to online that in person have no confidence, behind that, in that game, when they're that avatar in that game and they are on that microphone, they are who they are inside. And that environment allows them to actually be who they are. And I love that for people, that this is a place where anybody can be who they really are.
You want to hear a controversial, unpopular opinion?
Sure. Yes.
I think that's what alcohol is.
Yeah.
Seriously, for most people, like they can't be themselves unless they're drinking.
Well, it's not
right?
just alcohol, right? It's any.
No, it's not.
any
But that's a big
substance,
one. That's
right?
like one of the most common ones.
Yeah. I just love the idea of that we were able to kind of be who we want to be. That's why I think, there's no reason why years from, okay, relationships are what, this is, I guess, the best way I dumb it down. Relationships are about like how people make you feel, right? And in situations, anything generally that you're doing, you're thinking about how you feel about something. Well, the activity that's happening to you is an activity. It induces a feeling into you when you assign a meaning to it, right? Okay, this happened. This is what this means. I'm having an emotional response based on that. You don't have to be in a physical environment to do that. In fact, I challenge you even like right now, think about something in your past that happened that was very, very negative. Thinking about that situation and reliving it in your mind, you will assign the meaning to whatever that was subconsciously that you've assigned that meaning to that situation, and you will have the same emotion. And if that emotion about that was sadness or anxiety or fear, your body doesn't know the difference whether it's happening right now or whether your mind is telling you that it's happening. Your body still responds physiologically exactly the same. That's why the metaverse is so important, is because everything that's happening is happening up in here. It has nothing or very little to do with your body. I mean, the body has the sensors, yes, but only for, touch and feel or taste and everything else. And even that can be modified, right? Because if you can get your brain to believe in the electrical impulses, then it doesn't matter what you're actually feeling.
Yeah. So just for random bruh, that comment, it was more sarcasm, right? You're right. You just have to be yourself. And I think that alcohol, people use that and say, I'm not myself unless I am drinking. So I agree. And for Dinosaur D, so he had a couple things. He talked about the land. You're right. I love camping. We talked about it a bunch, right? I'm big on, I've got my RV. I'm probably going out a couple times this year, ready to go. I love it. I would rather do that a lot of times than sit in front of my phone. But I understand the phone, and I embrace that there's a change in culture too.
I go to Jamaica once a year, sit on the beach, and get really drunk. So,
yeah. Listen, I've been at what 32. I'm in country. I'm going somewhere all the time, right? I'm the number one or top 1% Google local guide in Austin.
Yeah. I need to talk to you. I need to remind me. I got to talk to you off stream about going to Salt Lake in 3 weeks.
Utah?
Yeah, we got to.
Never been there. I think I'm in Colombia.
I think it's like the 22nd, 23rd. We kind of have a thing working at Real that you need to go to.
I should go there.
Yeah.
And then Dinosaur D, he had a comment about the further drives depression because you do have to take those glasses off eventually and live some life in the real world. Absolutely. I think we're all proponents of that. We know Jeremy, if he couldn't shoot his gun and go fishing, I don't know what he would do, or drive his Porsche. I just don't know what he would do.
Okay, but like, listen, as and I'll just go.
By the way, I'm missing out on hog hunting tonight. There's hogs like crazy to be here. So let me show you the video afterwards. Like, these hogs are destroying this guy's land, and he wants to come kill some hogs. So.
let me share like why I think I personally have like a unique perspective on that, is that especially with like people choosing the comment of that people have to take off the glasses and live in the real world. The assumption is that our lives should be miserable, and that if we're chasing things that make us very happy, then we shouldn't be doing that, because we should actually be okay with more of a baseline. But it's hard for me to subscribe to that. And the reason I tell you that is because I personally have early onset Parkinson's disease, which is a dopamine deficiency in the brain. That's all that it is. So tremors come because my body doesn't produce enough dopamine. So I have to take medicine that makes my body produce dopamine. The downside is that I am naturally seeking dopamine type activities. And most people are one of two things. They're dopamine seeking or they're serotonin seeking. And there is a difference. Like, a dopamine seeking is seeking this, like, the win, this excitement, the jump out the airplane, the drive the fast. And that's what mine is. But a lot of people also are looking for that serotonin, which is like I want to smoke a little weed. I want to chill on the couch. I want to find satisfaction. I want to find calm. I want to find peace. Both of them are satisfaction, but they're just two different ways to do it. So, that's one of the things that for me, looking out to the future of my life, I'm very excited about the ability to have all these same feelings, whether it's in the real world or not in the real world, because I'm happy that I can experience that. And same for other people. If there are other people that have physical disabilities, this virtual world is an opportunity for them to actually be happy with their lives, because we're looking through our lens where we think, oh, we have normal lives, but a lot of people don't live that life. They can't get out of their house. They can't find joy and peace anywhere.
Think back 20 years ago when everybody who was selling real estate would be door knocked or cold called. Like, how much of a shift is it from what we're doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
It's such a shift that people couldn't envision what today would be like. Right? That we would all be on some social media platform called YouTube, where you can educate and talk to each other and learn from each other. It's so crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So crazy. And I feel like a lot of the concepts of Web3 are like that, where it's just unfathomable for people either avoiding change or intentionally closing their mind off to creativity and imagination. It really depends. But don't get me wrong. You want to be pragmatic. There are plenty of business applications for all of this. There's plenty of investment opportunities for all of this. Kevin, I told you about my royalty NFTs. Yeah.
Yeah. The music ones.
Yeah. Jeremy, I tell you about those.
Mm-mm.
So there are a couple artists that are releasing albums or songs as NFTs. And anywhere that it streams, the contract goes, if you own one of their NFTs, you get a percentage of their royalties from the streaming. So Chainsmokers dropped one last night, and I was like, I don't love Chainsmokers, but listen, whenever they make music, it gets millions of streams. So I'm not going to be silly about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Somebody loves them a lot. And so for X price, I now get a paycheck either 6 months or a year, every 6 months and every year, as long as I'm an owner of this NFT.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as their song is streaming or trending.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've seen anything with like TikTok and any of these other platforms, I'm not sure how the royalties work there, but now I have to go find out more, because if the song gets revitalized on TikTok, maybe that makes me more money, even though I'm not the one that created the song.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Yeah, there's when you understand like that the fundamental changes that are happening whether you like them or not, and your understanding of the technology that's changing the world is not required. Your understanding is not required for that technology to keep moving forward. It's going to keep moving forward whether you like it or not. I mean, if that was the case, there would still be people. Every media ever has had the exact same resistance. And Web3 is a media. The metaverse, augmented reality, it's the way that we share information. It's a medium for information. It's no different than social media. It's no different than television. It's no different than the newspaper. It's no different than parchment. It's no different than spoken word with the Greek philosophers. They're all mediums, right? So like this is the exact same. It's just the new medium that's going to be used for communication and technology moving forward.
To answer Random Bruh's question, if you look at how some of the people that were controlling the music industry were charging the artists didn't make a whole lot. And then some of the platforms came out, and that's where Tidal, if you remember Tidal coming out, it's like for the artists. It's just like brokerages in real estate. You either make more or you make less based on who you're involved with and what they say they can do for you. It's all the same thing. So if the artist if they're willing to sell their royalties, it's the same as paying a split to whoever they would already pay a split to, except the difference is it's going to people that love them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even if it's just a little bit. It's something. It's sharing in the success of the world. It's decentralizing everything. It's moving that into the hands of the people that care. Like I'm working on this, Ian, I'm working on a massive project right now that, as it has evolved, I'm very excited about, because it's, the more I look at it, the happier I am for people to be involved with it, because it's moving more of the success of the world into people's hands, like that can actually take advantage of it. And I think in a time where BlackRock and Vanguard are literally trying to buy everything and make you a permanent fixture in their income scheme, it is more important now than ever that we find out ways to individualize the way that we earn relative to this economy. Because if you don't force yourself to buck that system, you're just going to fall into the system of being a eternal renter, that your rent's going to go up, your spaces are going to get smaller, your products are going to get more expensive and more scarce. They're going to become more artificial, not less. So unless you put your foot down and say, I'm not going to put up with this, then trust me, these corporations and this money will find a way to centralize you and monetize you to the point where it will make you absolutely sick. And if you don't think that's happening at a massive degree, go look at the amount of assets that BlackRock and Vanguard control in this world. It's literally already happening. I'm ranting now.
So what's that? Quick shout out though. I tagged Cosmic Coffee in my reel, and Paul, one of the owners, just said he's a big fan of the show from Cosmic Coffee. So shout out. Literally, Kevin, how many times do we accidentally run into each other at Cosmic Coffee?
All the time.
All the time. All the time. So if you're looking for a good coffee shop in Austin that's got great tacos, great coffee, great drinks, great drinks. What was the one? Was it the orange? What was it? The Comet one that you made me try the other day? It was stupid good.
Cosmic Comet.
Cosmic Comet.
Yep.
Anyway,
cold brew, oat milk, orange, and cinnamon.
Oh, it's stupid.
I
had Eileen try that. We went the other day. It's so good. So anyway, but going back, so shout out Cosmic. So here's the thing. I always laugh at those people, not laugh like you're stupid, but like laugh at like the sentiment of people. You were talking about BlackRock. They're like, BlackRock wants to own, wants you to own nothing and be happy. And they're waiting for the market to crash. Do you think BlackRock and those companies are smart enough to keep buying up properties so you can stay a renter forever? Like, but at some point you're going to have to buy a property. So stop with I'm so mad BlackRock's taking over the planet, and actually do something about it. I get everybody's not in the financial situation to do that, but put yourself in a situation. So I always just like, man, it just drives me crazy when people say stuff like that. It really
Vanguard, BlackRock is number one. Vanguard is number two.
Number two. Yeah.
They have $16.5 trillion under asset management.
It's
assets under management. 16.5 trillion assets under management.
What's our U.S. deficit?
Well, that's just managed value of the entire assets. That's not necessarily liquid, of course, but
sure. I'm just curious.
U.S. deficit, U.S. debt. I spelled debt 4 different ways wrong. I don't know why it just happened like that. 30 trillion.
All right, so they have half of the U.S. debt.
Yeah, under asset management.
Under asset management, sweet.
Yeah, so the assets
government buyout, imminent domain.
This is a funny thing, because I don't know the exact number, but I think it's around a little over 100 trillion, probably more at this point. A little over 100 trillion in assets under management in the country, and I may be wrong. I'm pretty sure it's around that number by the top asset management companies, like the top 500 or whatever. So technically, the U.S. debt is less than the debt to asset ratio of a normal household. They've only got 30% debt, as generally speaking. I know that's a really not even an accurate response.
I know.
We're talking about that's why the debt number for a country, that doesn't scare me at all, because they're just trading debt and no country's ever going to call our loans anyway. So I don't know, but this
wasn't that
how we got on this topic.
What's going on with Russia? the whole worry that they were, and that's why the ruble fell? I don't know that. I'm asking.
The ruble is actually the highest performing currency this year.
Right now, but it
Yeah.
dropped for obviously a substantial amount of time because
Russian
of
ruble.
what was going on.
Yeah. Yeah. This is not this is not a government necessarily issue. This is a corporation. Like the government is and they're essentially can be one and the same, but the asset management companies are not necessarily the government. They work together on this stuff, but the asset management companies are a different beast altogether. And I can complain about both. The goal of both is to monetize, and they do this together. They want to monetize us as many ways as is humanly possible. I'll debate that toe to toe with anybody.
I think that's the definition of a business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially in a capitalistic society.
Yeah.
What was that whole thing recently about the current administration doing? They signed like an executive order to do something with crypto to like decentralize it or whatever it was, or centralize it, whatever. I don't know. I'm not into these things. So I just looked at it and went, oh, Kevin.
What's that? What was that one?
Well, they signed an Biden signed an executive order. Basically what it came down to is they were going to look into how to centralize or whatever crypto or yeah.
Well, so I don't actually mind I don't mind our government having a stable coin that is, or a stable currency that is regulated by them. I'm actually totally cool.
We have the US dollar coin, yeah? Is that
I mean, it is, but like again, the reason that they're not is because they know they can make more money on the trading and volatility of everything that's going on. But I'm actually okay with that. Like if you just see them as a company, they have every right to have their own currency that we can pay. We don't have to partake in that if we don't want to, right? I mean, we do to an extent. We have to trade our coins, but we can partake with the other currencies in other environments, which is what Bitcoin is for. Is that it's a decentralized currency that we can determine the value of and trade amongst ourselves, that we don't necessarily need fiat currency in order to transact with. That's why it's so beautiful, right? Which is why I like that. I don't mind. The reality is when it comes to money, it's going to be regulated. But I think it's comical to think that I don't know. Go look at monetary policy. The Federal Reserve isn't part of the government, right? It's a completely different branch. They dropped the gold standard a long time ago. Now it's just based on a general consensus that this is what we think is a store of value. Like how strong is that?
Yeah, it's worth 10 chickens.
Yeah, I mean, and if you go look at monetary
a cow
policy,
and your daughter or something, that's what it's worth.
The history of money over through the years, like money started as just
daughter
stores of value.
Yeah, that's legit, man.
I realize that's legit, but that's like legit, like 17th century. It's not like.
I mean, I think it depends on where you're talking about, right?
True. Maybe Kazakhstan. Where's
that's what I'm saying. We're not all on the same page as nations, right? But I'll tell you what. When I was in Italy, having to have cash was the most frustrating thing in the world. I'm like, seriously? Why can't I tap to pay? I'm sitting here having a meltdown because I had tons of cash. The point was I didn't want to have to use it because I was using a crypto card. That's the reason why. Because I wanted the exchange to work better.
I'll tell you,
my favor.
In my opinion, the only reason that cash even remotely exists today is so that world higher powers with money have a way to move money literally without people knowing it. Because the reason, if they wanted to centralize a cryptocurrency and completely get rid of all cash, it wouldn't be a bad idea. They already track every dollar that goes through our monetary system. It's serialized. They know where it's going, right? So if they were to do that, why wouldn't you just want every financial transaction to happen on the blockchain anyway, where you know who got it, you know who sent it, you know the reason for it or whatever, and you can track that easily. So the only reason they don't is because they don't want to be held accountable for that and want to be able to move money in a way that isn't quite so traceable and trackable. So if they wanted to, they would. And they probably will eventually.
How much Luna did you have?
I had zero until a couple of days. That was the coin on last Thursday morning. I woke up at 4 a.m, and if I just followed my heart, I would have made a lot of money that day. And I did make a little bit, it's just not nearly as much as I probably could have. But I have some wrapped Luna now. I'm taking a risk.
Who's the YouTuber that lost 2.8 million on that coin?
Oh, it's KSI.
I don't know who that is. Sounds
do.
cool.
He's the PewDiePie of the UK. He would be so mad if I said that.
Oh, is PewDiePie still a thing? I haven't seen him in a long time.
He's not still the #1 income earner on YouTube, right? That crown was taken from him, stripped.
Was it did Mr. Beast take it?
I know he's up there probably.
Matt is right on
too
the
much.
money.
I mean, I like to glance every once in a while, but
Matt Bittner is saying exactly what I was implying, but I just didn't say it.
Well, or weapons,
Yeah.
WMDs, or pick anything really.
Like, you can be naive and act like
guys just demonetizing this video. I don't make much off these videos, but thank you for totally demonetizing.
Who?
Why? Because
mine was an acronym.
You said WMDs, man. Next thing you know, there's going to be the FBI at my house.
That's an acronym.
These are just opinions, though. They're just like,
you're not allowed to have
opinions. Yeah, this is educational content.
Just thoughts.
Yeah, you're not allowed to have thoughts. Whatever the narrative is, the narrative that you're supposed to have of the day,
But okay, the currency is one thing. It's one thing or another. Like, it doesn't really matter. I don't know what the world is going to look like. I do know that cryptocurrency will be front and center in our lives for the rest of our lives. I don't know that cash will exist in the capacity that it does today. You can already see that coin shortage. You think we're stupid? Coin shortage.
Yeah.
Come on. Like,
they're melting it for copper, man.
Or you remove the coins that you move up to the dollar decimal pretty quick, and then rounding gets a lot more straightforward. Then you don't have to be transporting change everywhere. Like, inflation moves itself up, right? Eventually, you won't even have a dollar bill, right? You'll just have a 10.
Yeah, or you can have a million. What is it? Yen.
Mm-hmm. $10 million bills.
Mm-hmm.
I guess at some point it would have to happen. What's the currency for Japanese yen? I mean, it's a lot of decimals over. Yeah, it's a lot of decimals over.
It looks like Bitcoin without the dot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
without the decimal.
So I don't know the whole thing about the whole Elon buying Twitter.
Easy answer.
Do you think that he did all of that just to crash Twitter?
No,
I don't know if this is a conspiracy theory or not, but the whole idea, the fact that it's been known for a long time that there's bots on Twitter. Do you think it's possible that Elon went, look, this bot that's pretending to be me is saying this. So you know what? I'm going to do whatever. And I'm going to just buy a bunch of it. I have a ton of money, whatever. I'll buy a bunch of it. And then I'll make them admit that they have too many bots on there. Do you think that that's actually a possibility? I heard somebody say that. And I was like, wow.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, I like Elon a lot. So
I met him. I got the photo with him. You want me to show it again? Oh,
we know that's how you identify. I think the thing with Twitter is yeah, he could go either way. The problem is his thought process is so different from anyone we'll ever know that we could try speculating all we want, and we could look at the logical path from our lens, but I mean, who knows? You might have a buddy that wants to buy it.
I don't possible like dinosaurs.
It could be to give the Saudis a second chance at something else, right? Like, there's all sorts of opportunity.
Do you think it's because he wants a better price on it now? He overbid and gave a crazy offer, and now that they've to prove that some of the a good amount of users are actually fake users or second accounts or triple accounts. Well, so he could devalue the price and buy it for lower.
I kind of like that. So I don't like that he is making things political necessarily. I don't really care, but it's interesting because a lot of people, depending on which direction they lean when they make things political, had been banned on the platform. And that was the whole reason he was talking about buying it to begin with.
Right.
So I think it's interesting because at this point, a lot of people had been brought back or given their accounts back. Maybe that was the end result, or the end goal to begin with.
Well, I saw that there's a lot of people saying like, oh, I gained after the announcement, I gained X amount of followers and these people lost followers. And it's interesting because I've heard several different things, but I think the large possibility of that, of like right-leaning people that picked up a bunch of followers and left-leaning that lost a bunch, was people who just said, I'm off Twitter or I'm coming back to Twitter.
Right.
I think that's more plausible than some of the other things that like, oh, they unbanned a bunch of people, which they probably have. But I mean, I don't know. But I think that's more the logical conclusion versus like, oh, you know, they took away a bunch of fake people and brought back regular people or whatever.
Like, we're thinking at a 30,000 to 50,000 foot. What would somebody who's thinking at a 200,000 foot level want to do with?
Well, and am I making this up?
Is that even in this atmosphere? I don't know how high out I'm talking about. I'm not a rocket scientist.
You're not to Mars yet. So
I
have jumped out of a plane, but I want to say it was 20,000 feet.
No, you're probably at like 10, but go ahead.
No, that's the half. That was the half jump, man. The half jump was 10.
You'd have to have oxygen at 20,000 feet.
15? It wasn't 10. The half jump was 10. Let me look.
I heard, maybe I'm wrong, that Trump actually not coached him, but maybe advised him a bit on the purchase. And this is pre-President Trump, when he wrote the books, you know, like Art of the Deal. The Art of the Deal is to get the
property. He didn't write that.
What? Or not the Art of the Deal. Which one did he write?
No. Yeah. He was on there. He ghost wrote that thing.
Oh, but the point anyway. The point is that his philosophy is you get the property under contract. It doesn't really matter the price. You get the property under contract, then you do due diligence, then you negotiate to the final price. Elon's plan was, it doesn't matter the price. The point was, I'm getting this under contract to have the right to do the due diligence, to prove that I'm right. Whether he buys it or not is not the point of the discussion. The point is that he's exposing Twitter through a legal means of what the platform actually is. Whether he buys it or not doesn't matter, because once they're exposed or validated for what they've been doing, then people get to make the decision on their own based on the freedom of information.
But it also, to this point though, it's already cost him like what, $2.9 billion to do that though. Like it's like you or I going,
that's like $10.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's like $10 for him. I get that, but
totally
that's just pretty big. It's a pretty big investment just to make a point.
But that's his philanthropic. Gift to society, is that he's doing something for everyone with his money that is really valuable, more so than giving it to some building somewhere. You know, he's making a point, and I think that point is really important, because in the future, when we look at government-run corporations or massively run corporations like this, like, we have the right to, whatever the information is, we have the right to know that it's coming from credible sources, or that it's not being filtered in a way that would lean one side or the other.
Right.
No, I don't think it affects Tesla at all. It has nothing to do with Tesla. It's not keeping him from running that business.
Yeah,
They just said that because it was a reason to drop the price of the Tesla stock, to create volatility, to trade against it, so that everyone would paper hand out of it and give institutional investors a chance to buy these large corporations when you're very, very scared at discounted prices. Welcome to the United States of America.
Well, now that we're fully demonetized from this video,
I'll give you the $3.75 you would have gotten from the ad revenue.
Yeah, I just wanted to double check. Tony Schwartz wrote Art of the Deal and put Trump's name first.
Is that true?
I mean, it's on the internet, so it must be true. Seriously, look it up.
Is it on Google?
Yeah, and then there was another one he ghost wrote with Robert Kiyosaki. Yeah,
Okay,
I mean he's good at using people's names to bolster his brand. And that, listen, that's business. I'm just saying, I give credit where it's due. He may have sat in a meeting for an hour. I don't know. I wasn't there.
A conspiracy theorist would say that Twitter is up to no good. A real conspiracy theorist would say that Elon is actually the other side of the same coin, and he's rallying the troops around the same cause by the same people, just playing the other side. So it creates divisiveness, which creates unrest.
It is pretty interesting, though, if you think about it. He buys it for $2.9 billion for whatever was it, 9%, 10%, something like that. Then offers $44 billion to buy the whole thing. Forces the board to pretty much commit, whatever the word you want to use. Yeah, I gotta be careful. They took the silver bullet. So and then you shake up all of the people inside Twitter, but just the announcement of him coming over, like you've effectively, annihilated a business just by announcing that you were going to buy it. And I think it's pretty savage. It's a pretty savage move. If that was the move, like that's pretty damn savage.
The timing for me is a little sus because, it seems like an interesting time to do that. And then the entire market tanks and then cryptocurrency tanks. Like all of this literally happened in like the same 1 to 2 week window. It's just, I don't know, man.
The thing we know about Elon Musk is that he can afford to be savage.
Yeah.
That is one thing we do know. That is the one fact is he can afford to be savage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's funny. I love seeing people in prestigious and powerful positions live life in using the same tongue-in-cheek humor that they're using behind closed doors. I think it's refreshing to see him say stuff like that out in the open.
That goes back to the discussion about avatars, right? Yeah. Like, who are you when you're in front of a camera? Who are you when you're with your family, right? Who are you when you're with your friends? I would say I'm pretty close to being the same in every capacity, other than the words that'll get Jeremy demonetized or get me demonetized.
Yeah.
Or our broker, compliance issues. Other than that kind of stuff.
I wonder if Elon is the avatar for someone else in the simulation somewhere.
Oh my gosh. That would be pretty funny.
He is their avatar.
I missed that. In the what simulation?
In our simulation. Can you imagine who's the real person where Elon is actually the avatar for them?
Yeah. He's definitely an NPC.
He is an NPC. No, he is a main character. We are NPCs in Elon's.
We're NPCs and he's
we are all NPCs in Elon's game. That's why he keeps rewriting the code for the game, the simulation.
$20. Ian, our last live stream made a total of $20. So
that's not bad. I'll buy you 3 coffees.
We'll meet over at I wonder
Depends on where. You might only get 2. Speaking of, I was at Hermes on South Congress.
Where? Anime?
Your favorite store.
Anime?
Hermes.
Oh, Hermes. I thought you said anime. I was like, there's an anime coffee shop?
I went to the one in Paris and I was like, I can't go to the one in Paris and not go to the one in Austin. So
I hope Neuralink is Elon's game because I'm signing up for
that. Oh my gosh. Jeremy, how do you feel about plugging a microchip into your brain so that software companies can have access to it?
To my brain?
Yes, your brain.
Man.
Forget that. Hold on. How do you feel about them doing that to like a loved one?
Yeah. No. Not high on my list of to-dos.
Yeah, let me go back to my same perspective as before. Like, there's a pretty good chance, if you want to look this up, a surgery called deep brain stimulation. There's a really good chance that I will have to get that surgery next year anyway. where they're going to drill a hole into my brain and implant an electrode and put a pacemaker on my chest, that my doctor can read my brain activity and adjust the electrode impulses for my brain to produce dopamine. So I'm getting that done already anyway. Like, bro, if you can just put something in there for me to like get the Weather Channel, right, or be able to send a text message by thinking about it, I'm all for it, bro. If you're going to be in there, just put some other stuff.
For your
in
body
there.
to be operating at either what's considered normal or better, right?
Yes, correct.
That's it. That's what most people don't get, is that most people have problems.
Yeah.
And they just don't talk about it.
I want the Sully Solar Burger treatment because I want to go back to flying planes, but man, going back and spending all the time and energy to like get certified. If I get the Sully implant, maybe.
I was at Orange Theory. I've been going twice every day and trying to do this twice a day workout thing. And I have asthma, and nobody would know when they see me run until they'd see me stop running after about 30 seconds. But I can take one of those, what do you call them? Like a preventative inhaler. Mm-hmm. And I can not outrun, but I can run for miles.
Yeah.
Like anything that I can do that puts me back into a position where I can be my best self without having to, I don't know, go crazy. And that's without having to go too far with it.
Yeah.
I'm always looking.
It makes you feel more like normal.
Yeah. I want to be able to run. I want to be able to run a 5-minute mile. I don't need to do a 4-minute mile, but a 5-minute mile is good. Right? Now, without having to worry about if I have to take my inhaler.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, now imagine that you live in a world where your back doesn't hurt all the time, that you actually can hear everything, and that your skin doesn't break out every time you drink dairy. Like these are all good things. Like, don't just be
people are closed-minded, man.
Yeah, let's be okay with the fact that we actually can be okay.
Nobody's ever touching me.
We don't have to live with all this negativity and ailments and like miserable situation. We don't have to assume that we're going to lose money or that always taxes are going to go up or that we're always going to get sick. Like, let's live a life that we can actually be happy with and try to make it better for other people. That's what I love about all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, these are all good opportunities.
Are we going to live the lives like Wally? Just everybody fat.
No way.
Happy.
They did pass UBI. Where did they pass UBI?
I mean, I'm leaving Austin now because of the UBI, so I'm out.
That's right.
I leave T-minus 2 weeks, so I'm out. I'm out of Austin.
I actually,
it's gonna have a ripple effect, and it's gonna be all the counties. It's gonna be Travis County.
Yeah,
and then it's gonna keep going.
I think the UBI thing is the dumbest thing because we're gonna help 85 people. Great. I keep going back to the fact that we have Community First Village that has been so much more highly effective in helping people in the homeless community than anything government run ever. And it proves a point why there's not bigger talk about Community First and what they've done there and help people with drug treatment issues and stuff like that. They don't want to talk about it. Why? Because they can't take tax dollars and buy buildings and crap with it. And now you want to pass UBI? You voted for it? Everybody voted for this? Like, I'm out.
I mean, what good is a UBI? Like, it's a one-time. Are they going to increase UBI with inflation or better?
Right. So next year, it's $1 million this year as a test. Next year, it's $5 million. The year after, that's $20 million. And then guess what's going to happen 5 years from now? It's going to be, hey, by the way, we need all this money for this. Oh, there's no oversight. We can't show you where all the money's going. And it's just going to be corruption all over again. It's just another way to funnel money to people.
You know what UBI is to me? I remember I was a young, like right out of high school working for a pharma company. And I was able to do the job of three people because I knew formulas in Excel.
Yeah.
And you had all these other people that were retirement age. They should have retired, but they were still holding on for whatever reason in their life. Yet I know they were making probably 3 times as much. That doesn't mean they weren't worth it, but I know they weren't working as if they were worth it. Now, some of them had tribal knowledge, but after a little while, they were all gone.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's UBI. They were riding the system. There are a lot of people that are riding the system already. It's just, where's the money coming from?
Well, I mean, you might not like you might not have much of a choice at some point because, even a college degree now is so commonplace that it's not really setting you apart from everyone as far as the hiring field. Even that doesn't matter because you still can't buy a house, right? Until
every job is customer service or building AI to take over.
According to LinkedIn today, Austin is the number one place for starting a career. Anyone coming out to start a career is number one in Austin. So very, very cool.
It.
Very cool.
But we're number 13 now, the best places to live.
I don't even care. I know this is the best place ever. So
yeah, you got to poll who's voting. Is it the 85 people? Because I bet we'd be number one. What? It's true.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So yes, I'm leaving Austin. It's official. We close on a new property in 2 weeks, and then next week I think we're gonna list our house in the market. So you want a house with a pool in Circle C?
Do you need a realtor?
Yeah, my realtor, she's really hot. So
just kidding.
Which is funny. So everybody's like, I hear all these agents right now, they're freaking out about the market, right? They're freaking out about the market. Oh, it's getting. I'm like, all right, we'll see you out of the business soon. But I'm in a position. I just went in a multiple offer, won a multiple offer. It wasn't that hard. I probably wasn't the highest offer, but I wrote a lot of great things in my offer to stand out. Sorry, apologize. My wife wrote the offer. So we're the crazy, the crazy high interest rate. We're all in it, Mm-hmm. I was going to keep my house, but unfortunately, I think renting it with a pool and we have a balcony that kind of looks over the pool, I could just see some high school kid jumping off, and the next thing you know, I'm sued, or somebody falling off. Next thing I'm sued. It's too high of a liability. Otherwise, I would have kept my house. So, no, I'm not going to Houston. Nope, not going to Houston.
He's going
to get an apartment in Dallas.
I'm getting an apartment in downtown Dallas, right next to Reventure. We're going to be buddies. We're just going to make videos about the market crashing.
Hey, a good friend of mine is a location expert there, so let me know if you go there.
South Padre Island's not a bad guess. I was looking at properties. Boca Chica, yeah. What's crazy is I've been down there quite a few times and never seen a rocket launch.
So we're going there in mid-June, and I think
did you rent my place? I think it might be
I should. I didn't check. I sure will.
Well, if you're going to go down there and take your RV or whatever.
Well, we're going as a group. There's 10 of us or so.
Do you like do you like seafood and shrimp?
That's of course. Do you know me?
Dude, do you want a good do you want a good boat captain to go bay fishing with?
I mean, I did it. I ate fish on the boat. That's how real I am.
Well, I'm asking you, are you going to go bay fishing when you're down there? Because my guy is
I didn't have any plans to, but I'll definitely take a look.
I'll text you my guy. He is phenomenal. One of the coolest people you'll ever meet. But
can he fish?
Oh, we catch fish like crazy.
I was like, he can be as cool as he wants. What kind of fish? Listen, we're talking Texas fish. What do you get? What do you get what are Texas fish?
Dude, the mahi. I don't know they have mahi. They have whitefish, I think, over there. But the best place is Mahi Nick's. I'm gonna shout them out. I love them. Mahi Nick's, fantastic food. So if you're gonna stay at that little campground over there, if you do, it's right next to there. But Mahi Nick's, they make some great fish or shrimp tacos. Legit.
Do they have any superchargers? I'll be out of juice by then, that's for sure.
Yeah, so there's one it's terrible. It's the worst supercharger I've ever been to, but it's the what's that water slide place we have in New Braunfels? What's that? Slitterbahn? So where the old Slitterbahn is, there's two, and somebody always parks there. Yeah,
it's fine. So. They've doubled up around Austin. I don't know if you've seen that.
Oh, it's crazy.
I love it.
It's amazing. I was coming from the east side. I had a listing appointment over there the other day, and I was coming out, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna just charge real quick. And I thought I was gonna charge an Easy Tiger, so I thought I clicked on the Easy Tiger one because normally there was like 3 in Austin, right? There was 3. So I thought I clicked on the Easy Tiger one, and next thing I know, I'm driving north on 130. I'm like, where the hell am I going? I clicked on the stupid
The HEB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going the wrong direction. I'm going to Hutto. What the heck? Yeah, it's crazy. Sorry, you have one of those gas guzzling vehicles that hurts the environment, Kevin. So it's okay.
Yeah, I know. I don't care about the environment, apparently.
I'm kidding. All right. Well, we've been at this for like an hour and a half.
Wow.
Kevin, thank you for coming back. I'm glad.
Thanks for having me.
Mullet Fest.
I enjoyed it.
Ian, thanks for hanging out in your car. Hopefully we didn't kill that. Hopefully you were charging while you were there. But
I'm at 93%. I'm good, man.
Nice. We'll have to bring you back, Kevin.
Yeah,
we
I'd
all
love
missed
to.
you. We
Yeah, I
all
appreciate
missed you. Dinosaur D every single week talks about your BMW. No, your Mercedes.
Yeah, I got my Mercedes.
He's got a Mercedes. So we'll see you the next time. And no, I'm not moving to Dallas. I'm staying close. Well, I'm going to do a whole video on it. So we'll talk about it later.